So I've heard they're making a new From Software game and it's gonna feature horseback riding. And, oh no, it's time to talk about the elephant in the room. Or should I say, the horse in the open world game. Because I fucking hate horses in open world games. And I guess that's kind of a big statement, because there are good ones. It's very, very rare, but there are good ones. For example, Darksiders, beautiful horses. You summon them with magic, they instantly appear under you, and they're just an extension of you. Perfect horseback riding, it's great. But then you got games like The Witcher, and horses in that game are incredibly painfully slow. And I don't even know, is there a button to whistle for your horse so it comes to you? Well, even then, it takes too long, okay? It sucks. If your map is so big that you need a horse, your map is too big. If you choose to have a horse instead of anything faster, you're choosing to be too slow. If you had a car, you'd be way faster. If you had a dragon, anything that runs fast, you'd be faster, you'd be better, your map would make more sense. In The Witcher, your map is huge and there's barely anything interesting in it. There's like 2 quests open at the most in the world each time, and that's it. You're gonna wait for 20 minutes to go over there. The fast travel points are so scarce in that game. You always have to do the horseback riding to get to where you're going, and it really sucks. I hate it. It's the worst. And yeah, I can't believe that they put that in. I really hope that the From Software game isn't gonna have this issue, because it would really suck. I mean, From Software is known for making really good levels, really nice interconnected levels that have a lot of interesting stuff in it. But then you wouldn't need a horse, you know? If it was that way, you wouldn't need a horse. And in Sekiro, you run pretty fast. You wouldn't need a horse. And also the levels, they're not like big and open, where they would suck. So what does that mean? How will they pull it off? Will they make a From Software game with a horse? And you're gonna say, oh, well, Shadow of the Colossus is so good. Well, too fucking bad. I'm a PC gamer, and Shadow of the Colossus doesn't even dare to come on the PC. It knows it's so painfully slow, it doesn't even come to the PC. So Shadow of the Colossus doesn't count. Zelda games, they don't count. I can't play them on the PC. Could it really be that the only reason why we don't have any good horseback riding games on the PC is because they're just console exclusive? No, I think it's probably because you guys on the consoles are just used to slower games, okay? That's my hypothesis. But anyways, I still want to talk about a good horseback riding game that I have in my mind. I'm not going to make it so you can steal the idea or whatever. No one's going to. Anyways, I'm just going to talk about it. Just one last point about atmosphere, because you're going to say, oh no, it's going to be so important, the atmosphere. We're going to have the atmosphere of us being a guy who rides incredibly slow on a horse, and we need to see it. No, I tell you, you're wrong. You don't need to see your character on a horse for more than 10 minutes, ever. If your game contains your character being on a horse for more than 10 minutes, unless there's combat, it sucks. Okay, you've failed at telling a story. Don't tell me it's a good story. Don't tell me that the horse testicles shrivel, it's good. No, you're failing at telling a story if this is how it is. I don't know, I never played Dead Red Redemption either, because PC. Anyways, I don't know, that game could be good. I mean, you have guns, it could be good. If you can shoot your guns from the horse, if you can use the lasso from the horse, it could be good. I don't think it's good, but who knows. I never played it. It could be good. Anyways, you're gonna say, oh, well, you imagine if it's a fantasy game and your character can't just run as fast as the guy in Shadow of Mordor. That would be breaking the fourth wall. Well, too bad. Suspend your disbelief. Your character is a game character. Your game is about interesting shit. Your game is not about riding the horse for more than 10 minutes at a time, okay? It never is. Your game is never about riding the horse for 10 minutes unless there's combat. How can I tell you that? Imagine if in Lord of the Rings the characters wouldn't need to ride horses, if they could just teleport places. Well, guess what they do, okay? If you're telling a good story, you don't have it include a 10-minute horse ride, okay? Unless the characters are talking while they're on the horse, which is different, but they don't do that in most games, so yeah, that's not comparable. You never have them just riding somewhere for 10 minutes in a good story. And that's why you can't have it. If Lord of the Rings was a game, I mean, we already know what it's like. It's the Shadow of Mordor. It doesn't have horses. It's great. But if Lord of the Rings was a game and it was linear, it would just skip the part where you're on the horse. It would just go to the next area where you're not on the horse anymore. Or maybe it shows you getting off the horse or something. You wouldn't put a horseback ride in your game, okay? It wouldn't come up. It's not good storytelling. It's just not, okay? And that's what I want to see. I don't want to see this new From Software game be shit because it contains horseback riding. I don't want it to be a Zelda game where you ride your horse for 20 minutes at a time. I don't want it to be... I don't know. I guess do you fire your bow from the horse in Shadow of the Colossus? I don't know, actually. I guess if you fight in Colossus, it's pretty good to have a horse. But it still sucks that you actually have to get around with the horse as well, I assume. Unless it's like really fast and the levels are really tightly designed, but I doubt it. Anyways, that's my issues with horseback riding, and now I'm gonna tell you about a game that doesn't have those issues, but it has a horse. Alright, so no, I'm not gonna make this game, but I wish there was a game where you're in the role of I guess an Arabian horseback archer. You ride horses really well, but you can also shoot the bow. And guess what? You're not a real archer on the ground, which means you can carry so many arrows. Just imagine it. You could probably have like 100 arrows. And all you do is just... Well, I don't know. I guess there's all kinds of story possibilities. Maybe you fight for the army of the... I don't know, the army that fought the Crusaders or something. That could be cool. And then... Oh no, they're on their... They're heavily armored and they're on their heavily armored horses. Well, too bad. I just outrun them and I just shoot them with arrows. Gonna shoot the horse with arrows. Gonna shoot the knight with arrows. They're not gonna know what hit them. They're not gonna catch up. And then in the background you see, oh, meanwhile the Crusaders have been defeated because you've been so good. There's so many possibilities. And then, I mean, eventually, I mean, it would be an interesting time period anyways because it's constant back and forth and it's a great stuff. But yeah, you could have all kinds of story. Maybe you start out being the underdog and he doesn't Saladin doesn't expect that you'll be any good and he just sends you out to harass supply lines, but then you do it so well that you get promoted and it all accumulates in this big battle where you basically... Where it all depends on you. If you play well enough, then your side will win. If you don't play well enough, your side will lose. Something like that. It could be great. So many possibilities. And fast travel is amazing. You can go anywhere because you're on a horse. Basically, I don't know, maybe fast travel just allows you to go somewhere, and then maybe there's like encounters. If there's something on your way, you fast travel exactly to where you meet the enemies, so you never have to waste time. You can just go on the map and you can go anywhere because it's just a map. You can go on it. It's a horse. You fast travel anywhere, okay? You fast travel until there's enemies and then you fight them. No boredom. None of it. And you can loot enemies too because, well, I mean, you're fast and the looting has to be fast too. There's no time. There's no time to waste time. So if you're near enemies... You can just press the loot button and it just plays a cutscene of him picking up like a single piece of loot, and then you've looted all the guys. You see like a window of all the loot you've gotten. But it only shows you picking up the one thing. It doesn't wait around. It doesn't waste your time. None of it wastes your time. That's how it should be. Only focus on the interesting parts of the story. Don't focus on riding the horse for 20 minutes. Never do that. And if you're talking to NPCs, you either talk from up on your horse, or maybe it just skips forward to when you're in a tavern with them or something. I don't know. Just don't waste time. Or you can probably jump off your horse real quick, and then when you get back on your horse, you just press a button, and then the horse comes in from off screen and picks you up again. Boom. Problem solved. Fast horse. Still historically correct, though. You just didn't know the horse was there. And I really wish that game existed. You could even have a lance or a sword later on. Maybe you appropriate the Crusader culture. Now you've got a lance. Oh, the boy. Maybe you got a lance that shatters if you run into things. Maybe you have a lance that doesn't, but it's harder to use. Oh man, so many choices. And you're still fast, because you're still a light horse, I guess. Unless there's horse armor. Anyways, yeah. Tell me what you think of horses in games.